All right, everyone. Today on Not Generally in the News, some Epstein file releases. Yay! Archived link in the description, of course. Yes, it turns out that Jeffrey Epstein was a heavy donor to the Democratic Party. Not so much to the GOP, except for George W. Bush. I wonder why that would possibly happen. No, you'll notice the absence of this particular news story from a very large number of so-called mainstream media sources. Can we fucking guess why that would be the case? Why is it actually the case? Oh, that's right, they're protecting a certain political party. The fact is that Jeffrey Epstein was a liberal. And so while he partied with Trump because Trump was wealthy, Trump eventually kicked him out of his properties and disowned him, and basically called him a piece of shit and, castigated Ghislaine Maxwell as well. As well. And forced him out of his properties because they were trying to take young college girls and get them to work at Little St. James or at the rape ranch or something like that. He got tired of it. He wanted to keep his employees for himself, so he said, "Stop trying to undercut me." Is it a little bit mafia land? Yeah, of course it is. It's strictly business and stuff. But it is also ethical in principle. I mean, you're keeping someone from going and being used as a party favor at Epstein Island. That's one up for Trump, I suppose. But the thing is, Trump is barely mentioned in the releases that we're now getting. But as far as the political side, the donations and stuff, it's 10 to 1 Democrats. Interesting. I was told that Donald Trump was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Obviously, that means he was pimping out his own daughter and taking, 12-year-olds from Epstein and, railing them in the ass. But that never happened. He was never at Little St. James Island. That never happened. It's completely false in every possible way, shape, and form. It's sort of like the Michael Jackson ship. Once you look into the case, as Razorfist has so succinctly done, you realize that this is an innocent person who was simply relentlessly fucking railroaded by opportunists and by frauds and by the legacy media. We're seeing the same thing here. I'm not surprised that the latest information that we've gotten from the Epstein releases, I'm not surprised in any way, shape, or form that the legacy media does not want to cover it. It makes perfect sense to me. Why would they cover it? Because it's an implication that, hey, liberals are more likely to be pedophiles, basically. If it's guilt by association that you want, it's guilt by association that you will get. Supposedly, a picture of Donald Trump laughing and, holding hands with Jeffrey Epstein from before he was, convicted of anything and nobody knew that he was into kids. That's an implication that Donald Trump must also be into kids. He knew about it. He was totally culpable. He did everything wrong. He's a terrible person and a pervert. Okay, wait until you get the pictures of him palling around with literally every other fucking politician, and then you see who he was donating to. Who's really implicated here? I mean, according to the ethos that's been established for the Epstein files by the liberals, let's use their own methodology. So you've got hundreds, literally hundreds, of liberal politicians, donors, legacy media heads, and et cetera, people with TDS in some cases, palling around with Epstein. In some cases, after he was already charged, by the way, the first time. Mostly not after the second part, because then he supposedly killed himself in the cell. Epstein did not kill himself. We're beginning to see the reason why they covered that up, by the way. I have a feeling that there might be a little bit of a socio-political motive here. So if we use the same standard, all these politicians and shit, some of which went to Rape Island, they're all culpable, right? Why is it we're not hearing more about them? Why is it that I hear so much about Donald Trump being friends with Epstein prior to 2008, which is, I believe, the year that he kicked him off of all of his properties? Why is it that I hear so much about that, but none of these people are interested in all of the other people that met with Epstein? The Clintons, Soros, Bill Gates, all these, oh, that's right, oh, they have different political views. That's the only differentiation. Bunch of rich, politically connected people fooling around with Epstein. Many of these people did it after he was found guilty the first time and took, of course, the infamous plea deal that he shouldn't have been offered. This happens all the time, by the way, within the judicial system. So, should I judge them by the same metric? Because if I use the liberals' metric with regards to this, damn, most of DC are pedophiles. I mean, honestly, they could be correct about that. Or at least a large minority of them are into kids. They're into fucking 15-year-olds and stuff like that. Again, it wouldn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form. But Donald Trump is uniquely singled out. Meanwhile, we're getting the Epstein file releases. We're looking at the receipts quite literally. We're looking at the donation totals saying, oh, shit. Well, he really, really loves Democrats. Now, under, again, the same auspices. I'm not using them, but the liberals have insisted on doing so, so I'm going to throw it right back at them. Under those auspices, wouldn't all of those individuals be something you would want to condemn? But you're not condemning them. Why? It's because Orange Man bad. You don't care about pedophilia. You don't care if somebody fucked a 14-year-old. You don't care about trafficked victims. We see this with liberals at the border, for example. 1/3 of all unaccompanied minors that have come into this country illegally over the last few years can't even be accounted for. What do you think that they're using them for? What do you think they're doing with these kids? You don't care about the kids. Don't give me that crap. No, you care about Trump. You're uniquely fixated, obsessed with the topic of Donald Trump. He lives rent-free in your heads. Like, the day that he dies, I guarantee some of these people are going to have, like, fireworks celebrations and stuff like that. They are that fixated on it. And then they will be sad because Trump will no longer be there to be their whipping boy. It'd be really, really interesting. But they don't care about the kids. And they're not saying anything about all of these other people that actually probably did do bad things in some cases. They don't even want to investigate it because they just don't care. They don't give a shit. So when they try to tell you think of the children, most often when somebody is telling you that, either they're thinking of children, which is bad, or they want to bamboozle you. You get bamboozled again. That's also bad. So when somebody says, like, think of the children, very rarely is that actually a rallying cry to do something positive. I'd say think of the children. Why don't you cook your child a meal right now? It's Thanksgiving. You should be doing that. That's about all. Peace out.